All right, welcome into this edition of Road Trippin, presented by FanDuel. That's right, new year, new us. I'm Allie Clifton, your host. He's Richard Jefferson. He's Channing Frye. And before we get into what's going on in our worlds, let's talk about FanDuel because it's exciting. I know we're all excited to be a part of FanDuel. So before you guys express your excitement, I want to encourage our listeners, our viewers, to sign up for fantasy on FanDuel.com using code ROADTRIPPIN. And if you do that, guess what you get in return? Channing, we just talked about this. What are they
20% off something.
You get a 20-cent deposit towards your first
20 cent?
20% deposit.
Oh, okay, I thought it was 20 cents. Damn.
20%.
20% deposit bonus.
Y'all cheap.
Up to $500. So use code ROADTRIPPIN, sign up for fantasy on FanDuel.com.
Hey, wait, but can we use the code too?
Probably.
How many times can we use this code?
No, seriously though, shout out to FanDuel because we're excited.
Yes.
We're excited to be a part of them. They sent us so much swag and gear, and I've sent it your way. I have not got it to you yet, Richard, but it's awesome. But that's just the cherry on top.
Do you know what I'm most excited about? There's a couple of things. One of the things I'm most excited about is one, we actually have a sponsor, like our first presenting sponsor. So now we can do road tripping more and more. Allie, can I tell you what I'm most excited about?
Here we go.
Please.
We'll do this over.
Jenny. Yeah. So this is what I'm most excited about. Like, one, I want to give a shout out to the Queen. I want to give a shout out to Allie because people don't understand this. Everyone goes, tell me how to start a podcast or what is it like to do a podcast? It's like, one, it's a tremendous amount of work, right? We were fortunate. We were the first athletes to do a podcast. So we kind of had lightning in the bottle. We just won a championship. So it was everywhere. And everybody was like, what is this? Athletes actually talking. Well, yeah, you're welcome for all the athlete podcasts. The ones that you like and don't like, you're welcome. But people don't understand. Allie has to do the social. She has to do the editing. And when we are drinking and we have our guests, there is a lot of editing that involves doing that. So, we're excited about our partnership with FanDuel. We have a sponsor. We actually have help to do the editing, to do all of the stuff and the social and all the things that are needed to let you know what content's out there, helping to book guests, because you know that nobody gets more out of their guests than the three of us. So I'm excited about it. Now we have a little more help with the infrastructure that allows us to go and just have fun and drink and talk to your favorite athletes.
Shout out to Gina Paradiso. She is the bomb when it comes to booking guests. Shout out to
I just followed
Harris.
Gina.
Oh, me too. Wait, you just followed her. What do you mean? Like on social?
Well, because I only had like 50 followers, and so I upped it. I actually have 68 right now.
Hey, one more.
I'm looking for one more.
Oh my God.
Wait, on Twitter or on Instagram?
Instagram. I got in no, not in trouble, but yeah, Channing, I have one more follower. So everybody, I need one, and don't say me, don't say no, like I need one more follower on Instagram.
What about Nature is Metal? It's kind of hardcore, like animals eating each other and stuff like that, but
that's aggressive. I only followed one person on Twitter, and then the people at Twitter were like, Richard, if you want us to like, push you and promote you, you can't follow one person.
No.
So then I upped it to, I think 10, and it was the hardest thing I ever had to do.
Dude, do you follow Josiah Johnson?
I know you love some Josiah.
Dude,
his stuff is hilarious, though. I will give you that.
I told him, I literally DM'd him, it was like, how do you make me laugh every fucking time? Like, I literally am crying every time. Like, I should have thought of that. He's so fast.
No, it's so funny because people are like even you said, you're like, how does this guy only have so many followers? And it's like, dude, that stuff is hard. I did you see how I snuck an extra quick 1,000 followers?
Yeah.
So I had like 69.1 followers, and I literally tweeted like, please, no one else follow me. Do not ruin this for me. Please, I am not accepting followers. And then my guy, Nick Wright, shout out Nick Wright. He goes, everybody, please go follow my friend Richard Jefferson. He's being extremely humble. He would love nothing more than to get to 70, that dick.
To our viewers and to our listeners, let me remind you that this is a 40-year-old man who can't get enough of the number 69, and his buddy, who's 37, 37, 38 who
No,
can't stop laughing.
But see, my thing is
37.
this: it's like when people say 40, and like I'm glad you referenced that. When people say that, they act like I'm different than when I was 38. Like what? I'm like you know. But when you say 40, it has a different. Like this is a 38-year-old man. That doesn't sound that bad. When you say this is a 40-year-old man, it just sounds like such an aggressive connotation. It's like yes, but I did. Someone tell me. I think it was during. Oh, I know who it was. It was during the Sports Illustrated thing that I just did with Lindsey Vonn and Chad Ochocinco and Carrie Champion, and I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on it. Karin, everybody go follow Karin the Garage. She goes, I feel like athletes stop maturing at the age that they turn professional. And so for me, that would be like 20 years old. And I think I was like, you know, that's fairly accurate. I'm probably the same maturity level as a person that is 20 years old.
Ooh, I would definitely have to go ahead and agree with you for sure. 22.
That's when you're about this. You're about
okay.
22 years old.
Dude, me and my son were just watching DuckTales the other day, and I was like, I love this. Love DuckTales.
Little Rich loves DuckTales. Phoenix, he gets scared because, you know, DuckTales is all about ghosts. He's kind of dabbling into Scooby-Doo. But Little Rich is just like, Phoenix, what? Yeah, when your kids love the same cartoons that you grew up on, like you'll never love your children more than in that singular moment. Oh, you want to watch Tom and Jerry? Shoot, eat this edible and hang out with you the whole time.
Low key, there's no drink January. Them edibles been hitting different, dog. Like, where have I been? I'm in Portland too. So I was like, hey, I took a day. I went to my little farm, no TVs, no electronics. It was just playing cards and drinking wine. And I was like, went to a little weed store. I was like, hey man, I just want to chill out. Give me something where I'm just going to enjoy an Outkast CD. He goes,
Outkast CD.
That mango kush right there, dude. I said, I get it. I get it. And my
the key
feeling good, back was feeling good.
You got to get the CBD. And guys, this is not all the smoke podcast. We're not talking about weed, but we're talking about alternatives to taking anti-inflammatories and Vioxx and like all this other crazy stuff that we pumped in our body. No. But it's like, yo, Channing, there's a difference between microdosing and macrodosing. I'm more of a macrodosing.
Macaroni dosing?
Yeah, something like that. Okay. Macaroni and cheese. Okay, Allie, ladies and gentlemen, she's back.
She's back. So yeah, shout out to FanDuel. We're excited to be on board with them. Shout out to our team that has made us who we are, and we are back again, excited. With that said, we do want to engage more with you, our listeners and our viewers, through this opportunity of pushing out podcasts weekly, as we will be doing over the course of 2021. So we want your ideas, your thoughts in terms of ways in which we can do that. We'll get to that Cardinals jersey, sweater in just a minute, Channing. But use hashtag RoadTrippin on Twitter or on Instagram and send us some ideas, ways in which we can interact with you via FanDuel, and we will go from there. So with that said, let's get into what's going on. Sports. Should we start there? Do you want to start with the NFL? Do you want to start with the NBA? Let's start with the NBA.
Let's start with the NBA.
Let's do that.
Channing, you started off the season with a bang.
Channing, how are you? Channing,
like only you know how.
Channing, I'm not gonna lie. Like you're learning because you just finished your. Was this your second year? Second year. You just finished your second. This is the beginning of your third.
No, beginning of my second year.
It's the beginning of your second year?
Yeah, so you realize how quickly tides can turn and change. Like that's something that's probably relatively new. Like as a player, you don't give bulletin board material because that's just kind of how we're trained. But when you're talking about sports and giving ideas, all of a sudden shit can get sideways real weird, real quick.
Dog. You know what? And I had a conversation with Allie because I was low-key hot, right? Because I went on the Warriors podcast because like I was like, oh, I have no horse in the race. Like I thought the Warriors would do good this year. And so on that podcast, I made a reference. I said, hey, Steph, and to give everyone a backstory, Steph got like, anyways, I'll give you the whole story. So I went on and was like, hey, I didn't have an opportunity to go to the Warriors, but Steve Kerr's my guy. We went to college with Andre Iguodala. Nick Uran is still in that office. Draymond Green is cool in the certain times that I've seen him. Steph is the greatest shooter of all time. Obviously, first ballot Hall of Fame. Walking in there, he's a 2-time MVP, 3-time champion. I said the only argument somebody would have about his legacy is if he can't take this team without Klay Thompson to the playoffs. I didn't say the finals. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, but you made the mistake really quickly, and I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah.
The mistake that you made is you said that to all the Warrior fans. You didn't say that to the basketball world. You said that to the Warrior fans, which, that's like going on the LeBron James and saying that Jordan is the best. You're going to get. I
know, but here's the thing, though. And I said there's nothing. I even said there's nothing for him to prove to anybody, whether that's media, the fans, even to himself. He's accomplished anything. I said for the purpose of this conversation, if you had to say one thing he's not done, it would be to take this Warriors team without Klay to the playoffs. And I said I think he could do it. I'm excited to watch because at the end of the day, for him, right, as we're seeing now, they've adjusted their offense a little bit based on Wiggins and based on, Wiseman, but he's elevating his game to a level in consistency level that would he ever have done that without Klay? Because to have somebody if you scored 60 in 3 quarters and the person next to you has also scored 60 in 3 quarters, Richard, where'd you go?
I'm here. I'm right here.
It's like, for me, there's pressure, but there's always like, if you have an off game, like it doesn't hurt. Like Damian Lillard and CJ. It's like Dame might be 1 for 15, but oh crap, CJ has 40.
So
now,
you're cool.
Yeah, very cool with this.
And so
it wasn't bad about it. I do it. I have the utmost respect. He's unguarded.
I know, but that's the problem, Channing. So, and I'm gonna give a shout out to some Warrior fans. So the guy on Twitter, Dub Niners, I think that's his name. And it's like, dude, like we get it. Like when I engage you and I see that your thing is Dub Niners, like I know what I'm doing. Like I'm engaged. We got into a little back and forth on Twitter. I like to view it as respectful about like, I said that Chris Paul has been over the last like 15 years, he's been the best, like kind of like true point guard out there. And they're like, oh, you forgot about Steph. You got to look up. I'm like, listen, guys, I expect you to be a fan first. So I understand when your allegiance is.
Right.
The second part is I expect people, let's have a conversation about higher level basketball. The reason why there's terms combo guard, stretch 4, stretch 5, point forward, right? Like there's a reason why there's all these like little hybrid terms. To put Steph Curry in the same category as a John Stockton, as a Magic Johnson, as a Jason Kidd, as a Steve Nash, I think that's doing a disservice, one to the game and one to Steph Curry. I said Steph is closer to Allen Iverson than he is to Jason Kidd, right? And I think, and I mean this obviously, AI averaged 30 a game, was an MVP, took a team to the finals. I still stand by that. I think Steph is a point guard. Steph has been the best point guard. I'm not disputing any of that conversation. What I am saying is that it's a little bit different when you want to compare like a Jason Kidd and a Steve Nash and a John Stockton and like traditional point guards. And his argument was like, well, every league or every point guard now is a scorer and blah, blah. I'm like, yes, there are more combo guards that are like more scoring point guards than there are actual like true point guards. I think Chris Paul is one of the last true point guards where he is a floor general. He gets everyone involved. He's more in the same mold of the old school point guard. Steph changed the game. He's more of a shooter scorer. But to your point, what Chris Paul is doing in Phoenix as a floor general, right? Yeah. Getting everyone involved, making sure these guys are doing the stuff. Like Steph taking on that challenge will help him and will elevate him. And it's like, yes, like for every guy like that believes Steph is a top 20 player of all time, you want to know what Steph's goal is? To be a top 10 player, to be a top 5 player, to be the number 1 player of all time. That's what these guys are chasing.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
With that said, why is it we're comparing guys from completely different eras? Why do we get into this? Because I don't see how you can compare Steph to AI. I just don't. The games, but the game in which they play is so much different.
Well, we're not talking about, me personally, I'm not talking about the individual way that they play. Like AI was an amazing style of guard that they are, right? The style of guard, they are a scoring guard. Like Steph can get past, can get assists. Steph can get people involved. Allen Iverson lost to the Lakers in the finals, right? What we're trying to do is literally, if you want to have a higher level basketball conversation, then you have to be able to say like, okay, who is this person most like? Who can we compare this? It's unfair to compare. I'm not trying to compare errors because I believe that Allen Iverson and Steph, they might have crossed 1 year, maybe at the beginning of his career towards the end of AI's.
Memphis?
But I don't think it's unfair if we're trying to talk about greatness. I didn't say who's better, Allen Iverson or Steph Curry. I'm not saying like who is better from that standpoint. I more express it from like, that's the style of guard. If you're going to say point guard, he's a point guard. The game has evolved. And it's like,
and that's to my point. Because Steph changed the game from that perspective.
He definitely changed the game. He gave all small guys, like, so small guards, smaller guards.
What did AI do at 6'2"? What did AI do at 6'2"? Like, let's not just say that like that Steph Curry gave everyone hope because he was a little guy. Allen Iverson is 6'2". Even Kobe Bryant said the world better be grateful that Allen Iverson isn't 6'7", or it would be.
But
over
now
everyone.
here you go again. This is my argument. Within everything that is said, you have to demean and uplift one or the other, and like that's not my point. My point is why aren't you just making your points with those in which they're playing with during their time in the league?
My point was when I said he was more of a combo guard, it was when we talk about Steph changed the game, you have to dissect it in how he changed the game. Steph plays off the ball more than any point guard out there, period. Why does he do that? Because he has the ability to also be a two guard. LeBron James led the league in assists. We're not calling him a point guard.
I think LaMelo Ball is the first true, I'm looking for you all the time point guard I've seen in a long time, which is exciting. But to get back to
how about his moment from LaMelo win against the Pelicans when he wanted that triple double? Obviously, he's got it since. Okay, but when he passed it to the guy, he was open. I don't even know who it was in the corner.
Yeah. He's 19, so like for me, I'm like, he's still having fun, and I got two of their players on my fantasy team. So I've been watching a lot of Charlotte Hornets basketball. He is fun to watch. And once he like slows the game down, his relationship with Miles Bridges is crazy. Just the lobs he throws and the passes. And, once he just develops into something, it's going to be pretty amazing. I think between him and Wiseman, I think those two are going to kind of separate themselves from the rest for the Rookie of the Year thing.
Whoa. Don't forget about, I like the kid Halliburton up in Sacramento. He's the reason why they've been 500. And I took a little bit of heat from the Sacramento Kings fans because I said they had the worst starting lineup in the league. I was not a big fan. Part of it is because Marvin Bagley's been constantly hurt. De'Aaron Fox, even though his numbers are great, he's super talented, signed a great contract. He hadn't taken that next level jump that you see from a lot of like guards in his kind of tier. But the kid Halliburton's played well for the Kings. Like he's special. Like he doesn't have the same scoring ability that
Edwards?
that Ball has.
Yeah.
That Melo Ball has. He doesn't have the same scoring ability, but like when you watch a person and you just see that they know how to play, right? Yeah. The passes, the take a dribble left, to let the offense catch up, to let the defense slow up, steals. Like the kid flat out knows how to play. And that's why I think he dropped to Sacramento, but everyone had him at a top 5, top 7 pick, and he ended up dropping in Sacramento. I think this kid, he's not going to be Rookie of the Year because I don't think the stats are there, but I think all rookie first team for a guy in that position is a steal for the Sacramento Kings.
Where do you think he plays, though? Isn't he a point guard?
No. He's like a combo. Oh God, he's a combo guard. Call using internet audio.
Let me do that. I'm gonna turn this one off.
I'm just trying to get quality internet.
You don't have a. Ooh, that's loud. You don't have a. Are you going from your computer? Ooh, that's loud.
No, hold on a second. There we go. Okay. You guys see me? I know Allie's so annoyed right now. There we go. Is that better?
Can you? Yeah, I have a pregame show.
Yes.
Can you flip?
Oh, okay.
Other way.
Yes.
Other way.
Other way? What do you mean flip? Like this? I have this way, and then when I turn my phone, it goes like this. Which
Can
way
you
do
turn
you
your phone the other way? Just go the other direction.
Oh, you almost did.
Like this?
This has to be on the thing.
Did it like this? Unless you want me to go upside down.
Is your phone on lock? Like, is your phone on twisty lock?
Better.
Oh, there we go.
We'll
okay. She's like, sure. Oh my God. How's that? Is that better?
Okay, so let's go from kind of the individual players that we were just talking about to, let me ask you this question. When you look, we're like 9 to 10 games into the season. So I know that it's a very small sample size, but what surprises you more? Let me ask you this. That the Phoenix Suns are atop the Western Conference, or that the New York Knicks are number 6 in the East?
Oh,
which surprises you more?
Close. Knicks not even close. Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, Devin Booker.
It's Chris Paul. It's Chris Paul. I don't care of anybody that's trying to say that, they went 8-0 in the bubble. Like, did they really magically become a better team, like, after the 6-month break? No. Like, they played well in the bubble. There were some teams that were coasting. There were some teams that were locked in, and they played well. They played really well. But Chris Paul has turned them into a bona fide playoff, problem. I think the Knicks are probably a bigger surprise, but are they, though? Even when you look at Thibodeau won in New York. He won in Chicago. The one playoff that the Minnesota Timberwolves have made in the last 20 years is when Thibodeau was coaching, right? And so I think the Knicks I think we're not surprised when you see all of the guys from the Phoenix Suns addition to Chris Paul playing great, but I think the Knicks are probably surprised. And shout out the Knicks, man. We give them a lot of shit. I've given them a lot of shit over the years, but dude, we want the Knicks to play well. We
understand the NBA when the Knicks are
and that's what I try and tell the Knicks fans. We only talk about your team because of your location. Yeah. If this roster was in Seattle, they would never be mentioned. So it's like, don't get mad when we're not happy when we're forced to talk about the Knicks because of the location. You don't typically talk about bottom 5 teams. You don't, unless they're large markets. So don't get mad if we can't find good things to say about a team that has been to the postseason, 2 or 3 times in the last 20 years. Like, don't get mad at us. Like, we're just given the reality.
Yeah, I think what Tibbs did was make everyone's role smaller and then say, this is what we need from you to win every night. And that's how I'm going to hold you accountable. But a guy like Julius Randle has always got stats, but his stats have been for nothing because they've been losing. So now, if he's still getting his stats, but they value the basketball, they're moving it, they're taking correct shots, they're not just coming down jacking, and they're making mistakes that are correctable, drilled mistakes. I've actually watched them a bunch. And guys are coming in and they're diving on the ground and playing hard and clapping for each other. And it's you haven't seen that a lot, right? When everyone has free reign to play and do whatever you want, it's everyone's trying to climb the ladder and pull each other down. And now it's they're doing something. You could build off this.
Yeah, well, and this is the one thing I'll say about the Knicks fans. Always be weary of these moments because as much as it feels good to not be the laughingstock of the league, understand the only way you get guys like RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson and Ja Morant and Lucas, and the only way to get these guys is if you're not very good. So the worst place to be in the NBA, the entire worst place to be, is just outside the postseason. Because Right. But now to the Knicks' credit, if they're good enough, they can attract free agents. The problem is that when you're not getting a number 1 or number 2 pick, and RJ Barrett's good, he was a good player, get at 3, but you're not attracting free agents, then you're in a miserable spot. So it's one of those things where you want the Knicks to keep doing this, but if they crack the 8th spot or they're the 9th spot, it's good news, but you got to get free agents because you're not going to get good picks at when you're the 8th spot or the 9th spot or the 7th spot. You're not getting good draft picks. So if you don't attract free agents, which I think there's still a culture overall view of the Knicks that need to change in order for them to get the free agents that'll take them over the top.
When it comes to this first bulk of games, the first word that comes to your mind when I say out of the entire league, East and West, I never would have seen that coming. What team? I guess not first word. What team? I would have never seen that coming.
The Raptors.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
What are they? The Pasarobos Iguanas? What are they? The Boca Raton Iguanas?
The Boca Raton Iguanas. Is that what they're called? Is that
stink.
So you're going with the Raptors.
Stink. It's so frustrating.
I would say the Clippers.
Oh God! What? How?
No, but this is what I'm saying. No, they
are who we thought they were.
No, but no, it's not. When I say it from this standpoint, the roller coaster ride that the Clippers have been on. That's what I'm saying. I would have never saw them be down by 50 points at halftime. If the Dallas Mavericks didn't score in the second half, they would have still won the game. Like that, I would have seen. Then to be up by 20, to be up by 20 plus, and then lose by double digits in the second half to Steph and the Warriors. And then I think there was another game where they were up like 23, and then maybe Phoenix. They were up against Phoenix, and then they tied. We know the Clippers are good. We know the Clippers are going to win, 50 games. And I say that from the percentage. They're not playing
so
82, but they're gonna win 40 plus games. They're going to be good. But it's just like they're too talented and too veteran of a team, and this is their second year together. And even though T. Lue's going to change a couple of things, they're going to have a similar offense. They're going to have a similar feel, and they know each other. So to have these roller coaster rides this early in the season, I don't think I could have expected.
Here's a question, Richard. Who is their emotional leader, right? PG can play. Kawhi can play. But at the end of the day, neither one is a vocal, emotional leader for them. You see when things are going right, the ball's moving, they're making plays. Like I remember Patrick Beverley dove on the ground, right? They were, I think it was tied or up by 1. Patrick Beverley went to dive on the ground. I think it was a foul or something. Nobody picked him up. Nobody picked him up.
Meanwhile, I had to scream at you. I had to scream at you 100 times.
That might be one of the best videos from that time.
I was scared of licking. He gave me a weird look.
No, you were arguing with the ref while
you didn't hear Richard.
No, not the first 12 times.
No.
Okay. All right. So you're going Clippers. You're going Raptors. Okay, last one.
AKA Iguanas.
Wait. Allie, you're included in this conversation. Who do you think?
I feel like I'm really good at setting this up. And because you guys didn't say who I would have picked in that situation, I'm going to ask it in a different way. Okay?
Okay.
So, of course, if you were doing a poll on Instagram, in the right, I would say of course. In the left, I would say doubtful if I was doing a poll. And at the top, it would say the Washington Wizards will figure it out. Of course, doubtful.
Oh.
My team was doubtful. The Wizards. I was no, I didn't see that happening to the Wizards.
What? Why didn't you see that happen?
I
think two. One, who's in Washington? Scott Brooks. Who played for Scott Brooks?
Russ.
So I was thinking Bradley Beal, like how can those two not figure it out? And I'm surprised at this point that this is,
they figured it out. It's not them. They figured it out. They don't play defense.
Which means they didn't figure it out as a team.
They were last year. They want to play fast, but at the end of the day, Thomas Bryant is a talent. He gets you good games. He's a little inconsistent. He just tore his ACL. So now they don't have no big man other than Robin Lopez. He's a traditional big.
They got Rui.
Fast for that. So, Rui's like a 3-man.
So of course
he's
they're
a
doubtful.
3-4.
Of course they're doubtful.
And then Bertans. Oh,
No, but
super.
that's a good one. To me, my sleepers this year were in the Western Conference. It was Washington. I believe they're a playoff team, and then
In
the
the East?
Phoenix Suns. Yeah, or excuse me, in the East. And then I thought the
And then
Phoenix
West.
Suns were a playoff team. Those were my two sleepers. I still think Washington will be okay because I look at Russ similar to Chris Paul. It's like he is who he is. Like he's going to play fast. He's going to pick people up. It's going to take time for them to learn. They got to play better defense. I think they need to make some moves. Probably they've been so hamstrung with like contracts and all the just the noise. I don't think they're necessarily out there doing when you're having to move the big puzzle pieces. It's hard to fit the little puzzle pieces. When your big puzzle pieces are set, then doing the little puzzle pieces to fill in the gaps. It's like, where do we need help? We need shooting, or we need defense, or we need to help with our bench. It's like the Lakers. They got their big puzzle pieces, right? They got AD, they got Bron. They got that set. Okay, where do we need help? We need bench help. Now, look, shout out to Rob Pelinka. They did a very good job of adding, Montrez and adding Schroeder and adding Wesley Matthews and adding, Marc Gasol, but they fit the need that they fit what they needed. That's what they brought in. When you're moving the big puzzle pieces, like that's when it takes a little bit more because those big puzzle pieces come in and your little puzzle pieces might not necessarily fit.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where it's like, okay, we need to go find defense. We need to go find shooting. We need help. We need a secondary big. We need another ball handler. We need, what I'm saying? That's where it becomes, I think they'll still be okay because I think that Russ is always going to play that hard. Bradley Beal is proving to be a top 5 scorer in this league.
Right.
So they'll be okay. But good call, Allie.
I think my other one would be Houston. Like, I thought James Harden would be gone right now. I've watched a lot of Houston, too. I have James Harden on my fantasy team. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. To me, right now, it's not that I don't think it will, but by the time that it works out, they're already going to be so far behind. I think John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins and the kid who's going to win Most Improved. He might even mess around. They're 4-man. Guy from Detroit. Jeez.
How
do I have a brain fart right now? Anyways.
No, you messed up my brain too because now it's like the big man. God,
Dude,
I know.
Stud. But like less is more sometimes.
We're gonna have to edit that out.
Those guys.
No, but I think ultimately,
that's it.
Christian Wood. No, but I think ultimately it's more about, to your point, Channing. It's just like everything's up in the air. They're still moving their big puzzle pieces. They brought in John Wall. Then you have James Harden, who is trying to get out. So like that is, I don't know. I have zero faith in Houston. They're making playoffs. It's like they don't even want, like half the guys don't even want to be there. Half the guys don't know if they're getting traded. Half like James, your best player, the generational player, and James Harden doesn't want to be there. So it's like we shouldn't even really speak on them until they figure out what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. It's like I don't want to be here, and then comes out with like 7 guys and gets 44, 15, and 8. And to speak about combo guards, he's one of the, like, statistically, one of the best passers, more consistent assist guys ever, and nobody talks about how good of a passer he is because
what are you talking about? The dude, he's had like 60-point triple doubles, 50-point triple doubles. Like,
but nobody talks about his passing.
Well, because when your scoring is that good, like,
would you classify him as a point guard?
Oh, geez. See, this is where I got into it with the Dub Niners guys. It's just, it's like,
he's the same as Steph, yes or no?
Well, that's the thing. It's like that they wanted to make an argument because Steph is a great point guard. I played with Steph. I love Steph. We've been at weddings together. Like, love the guy. I'm not here to criticize. That's what I'm saying. I'm not criticizing my guy, Steph. Like, dude, the dude is dope. The dude is next level. But it's like, if we're trying to go like, okay, well, he plays off the ball because he can run around screens. The success of their team is Livingston, Andre Iguodala. Even the first year he broke the 3-point record, Jarrett Jack was a point guard, and then they would run Steph and Clay off pin downs. You can't help off that. No. And then, like, so then everyone eats. I think James Harden, again, positionless basketball. But guys, I think that's just being lazy. It's like, no, like a point forward, what Scottie Pippen was. Then you had guys like Magic Johnson was a 6'9" point guard. Penny Hardaway was a point guard, but he was 6'7". Pippen was a point forward because of the triangle offense and how they ran them and how they played. So I think James Harden
is Jokic, a point center?
He's a point center, dude.
Point center.
Arvidas, but they couldn't handle it in the open court the way Jokic could. But from the block,
you froze, by the way.
She just paused it.
What did you say?
I'm back.
Oh.
It was funny when you yelled, he's a point center.
He is. He's a point center. Because
so what's a stretch? What's a stretch five?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a stretch five and a stretch four and a power forward and a small. Like there are specific terms that you use. Steph Curry is a point guard. I am not disputing that. But if within that, if we're trying to like then dissect the point guard position,
right. Yes.
yeah, and if we're talking about, well, okay, like Magic Johnson is a pure point. Where it's like they're floor generals, Chris Paul, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash. This is not a criticism. This is just merely making a point. LeBron James is closer to Scottie Pippen. Like everyone says, oh, like he's a hybrid of Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. He can score, he can do this, but like, where do you classify him? He's a small forward. LeBron James considers himself a small forward.
Yeah.
Like he does. So like when he looks at guys like Larry Bird, Scottie Pippen, he considers himself a small forward.
However, in Cleveland, when the radio broadcast would do the starting lineups, right? So it's like, I'm just thinking back to the time. Kyrie Irving, point guard. Richard Jefferson, you would say what? Small forward. Damn right.
Then small
they would
forward
always leave LeBron.
Grade.
They would always leave LeBron to the very end. He would be like, LeBron James, every position.
Is that what they used to say?
Yeah. He did. No, he did. You guys would say your own. They would use your voice. You guys would say, you would introduce yourself in the starting lineup.
Oh.
Kyrie Irving, point guard. Richard Jefferson, forward. LeBron James, every position.
Yeah, and it's like, and my thing is like, look, when we're doing these conversations, there's a difference between who's the greatest. Michael Jordan. No. We're not trying to do that with when we're talking about Steph and AI and these point guards. No, we're just defining the position. This is not a criticism. This is not bad. Like to your point that we were talking earlier, I'm not trying to go different eras and trying to say this and that. Like, I think Luka, minus the athleticism, is very similar to LeBron James. Now, you know what I'm saying? Very similar. Can rebound, can get everybody assists. He sees the game different. Even Bron said that himself. But, like, if you were to give Luka a position, I would call him more of a point forward than I would, like, a point guard. Mm-hmm. Right? Like that, and that's not, is he a point guard? It's guys. Kyrie Irving, love Kyrie to death. One of the most ridiculous scorers of all time. But do you remember the Cavs stat? Like my last year there, it was like when he hit double-digit assists, we were 10-2, right? When Kyrie hit double-digit assists. So a basketball guy would like, oh, Kyrie's got to get double-digit assists every night because when they do, the team is great. But that's not who Kyrie is. Kyrie is a stone cold scorer. That's how he makes his money. That's who he is. So it's not a criticism.
Speaking of, this is an interesting stat. Before we wrap up this NBA talk, unless there's anything else you guys want to cover, it's only been 9 or 10 games. Did you guys see this stat about the Warriors, speaking of Steph, that they are currently, as a team, you saw this?
It is a wild stat.
It is wild.
Hurt. That would hurt my heart so bad. Keep going. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
I mean, as a player, like, how does he – I mean, you don't stop shooting. Kelly Oubre – okay, so in case you didn't know, the Warriors right now are 19th in three-point shooting. If Kelly Oubre didn't shoot a three, which, by the way, as of right now, he is 6 of 45 from deep, the Warriors would be 4th in the NBA at 39.5%.
Okay, so
first of all, I hate that someone singled that out. I really do. Well, that's a wild stat.
Here's what I think it's. Go ahead. No, I'll let you go. And then I'll go after you.
I say that this is good news because we believe that Kelly Oubre at one point in time is going to have a 40% month, is going to have a 38% month. You're going to bring it up. Look, they didn't play basketball for a very, very long time. Right? If some guy gets off to a slow start in a new situation, like, I'm not here to criticize him. First of all, have you seen him dunk on everybody? I think that's why this is a conversation, because we know the potential of Kelly Oubre. Yeah, Kelly Oubre. It's not about that. But where I think okay, that's cool. As long as you frame it in a way as like, hey, once Kelly Oubre gets his jump shot going, then this team is going to be a top 10 3-point shooting team. They're going to win a ton of games. His athleticism is there. Like, look, he's caught a couple of bodies already this year. So I think, I think even though that is a stat, but I also look at it as, Channing, you know this, he's got to shoot those shots. right? Like that's part of the success of the team.
Yes.
Even if he's 6 for 45, if he stops shooting, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a lot harder for Steph and for the other shooters to get shots. So the idea is just to encourage him. Look, every person that has played basketball has had a stretch. We saw Steph Curry go 0 for 12 in a game, 0 for 12 without making a three, and he's the greatest three-point shooter of all time. So it's like, everybody goes through this. Whether you start the season, end the season, middle game or two, whatever, he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing is like the mental part. Like, I don't really, if you're 19th or 4th or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. I think for me, the important part about him is that Steve Kerr has to make sure, as Richard said, he doesn't shut it off and say, I'm just not going to shoot. He has to stop caring. He has to just shoot good shots. It'll eventually come. But if he stops shooting, or if he like starts to like get hesitant, then everyone else just to make a move is going to be awful, right? He's going to get into his own head. Now, I hope he does it before, quote unquote, All-Star break, because if he's been going months and he's 1 for 20, 2 for 30, 3 for 45, 6 for 45, and he does that month after month after month, when they really need him, he's going to not even think about shooting that ball. He's just going to drive. And then all of a sudden, they're just going to double team and triple team the crap out of Steph, right? And that is what is going to, I would say, that's probably the only thing that will hamper the Warriors, especially within their system, is that like if Steph gets double teamed and they throw it to Draymond and he makes a play, they expect Wiggins and Oubre and the rest of their cast and crew to just shoot the ball. Whether you make it or miss it, it doesn't really matter because they're going to score enough. But another part is, I will have to say this, and I've said this on air on NBA TV. Draymond Green, I think people are now seeing the true value of that guy, right? His first game back.
Yeah, but people know the true value of Draymond. They knew
it, but you see him now, the speed at which the emotional leader, the talking.
Yeah.
Like when he has Steph and Clay next to him, he does get overshadowed, right? But then you're like, every TP has to have that center pole. He is that center part that keeps the TP up. And I'm like, even for me, I'm like, damn, like defensively how he talks, like offensively, the moves and actions. It's been pretty amazing so far.
No, he's been next level. I think to your point, Channing, when you look at it, I think the criticisms, and I don't want to say criticism, but the critiques of Draymond and Steph, it's like, can Draymond be effective without 2 Hall of Fame shooters next to him?
Right.
Can Steph be effective without Klay Thompson, right? Obviously having Draymond helps tremendously, right? So I think that's where the parts, it's like, okay, look, like these guys have built this up together. Is he an MVP caliber person without maybe the second or third best shooter in the world next to him? Maybe like Klay Thompson's the top 5 shooter, in my opinion, of all time. That's what the records say. That's what the stats say. Then they had Kevin Durant. So it's like, okay, just like anything in life, it's about evolution. Can you evolve? Is Steph only MVP Steph, which he's proven over these last few games and after the season kind of got started, that he can do things differently and that he can, carry teams, and he's mounted these comebacks. But even that 60-point win, if he had 45, they'd probably lose that game, right? Like that's a tremendous amount of pressure on him. And it's not that he can't deliver, but it's just like, understand, like you said, they are when they have all of their parts together, they're a force that we don't see. But separately, like I think together they mask each other's deficiencies, and then when they're together, it's almost like they have no deficiencies. That's the part that makes it so unique.
Isn't that kind of like the same thing that you tweeted about though? Like they are going to be Hall of Famers because they won X amount of championships. So they're not winning championships because they're Hall of Famers.
Yeah, like, it's like the big 3. It's like, look, before Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce showed up in Boston, their probability of being Hall of Famers was probably like 98%, right? And then they get together and they win a championship because they have 3 Hall of Famers on their team, right? Where Steph and Clay and Draymond were all very, very good players. And then when young, and I say very good, is like before they went on this stretch, like Steph was an all-star David Lee was an all-star one year, even the year that Steph broke the three-point record. Klay Thompson was turning into a great shooter. Mark Jackson is the guy that turned him into the monster two-way player. Klay turned himself into that. Mark Jackson's the one that challenged him to be that. And so you're right. These guys started to grow and develop in talent, and all of a sudden they're like, yo, these guys, 73 wins, five straight NBA titles, or 5 straight NBA finals, 3 championships. You're like, oh, these guys are Hall of Famers now, right? And it's like, oh, well, they got 3 Hall of Famers. Like, no, they're Hall of Famers because they've been winning this much.
Right.
It's not like Kevin Durant, when he showed up, if he would have never played one game with the Warriors, his probability of being a Hall of Famer is like 98%. So it's like he's the one guy that was a Hall of Famer pretty much upon arrival.
Here, last question for both of y'all from me. When we talk about a player's legacy, right? I would like to know, how much does that person and who they play with play into that, like from the media side for you? So, and take Steph out of this, but go like Giannis, right? Has Giannis ever played with a Hall of Famer?
No.
Right? So so Luka hasn't played with a Hall of Famer either yet, right? But James
wasn't Dirk his rookie year?
Oh,
wasn't it Dirk's last year? You're talking about in their prime.
Right.
Yeah.
For the purpose of conversation. So does a person's legacy, especially nowadays where guys are teaming up, does a person have another perennial all-star or Hall of Famer or next, like superstar next to them, hurt or help their legacy?
Helps. I think it helps 100% because when you look at, let's go back. Now we're going to talk about history and era. Magic Johnson, right? He played with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the greatest players of all time.
Worthy.
And we go James Worthy, Hall of Famer, first ballot, big game James. Guys that you don't even remember, like, I don't be disrespectful, but guys like Norm Nixon, who was all-star stud, Byron Scott. There were so many high-level. But I'm saying it's like those guys were like high-level role players. Like we're talking about the guys that were like Byron Scott was never an all-star, but he averaged 20 points a game multiple times during these Laker runs. You go to Larry Bird, he played Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Dennis Johnson. Like even guys like Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge was a very, 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 very good player, right? So it's like Bill Walton, who was MVP, 6th Man of the Year, one of the years. So playing with great players, as long as you deliver, a la Clippers, as long as you deliver, your legacy is through the roof. So you want to play with great players. And I think that's why when you see the Celtics join together or got traded together, why you saw Bron go down to play with D Wade and Chris Bosh did also, right? When you play with great players, it raises your level and it gives you opportunities that you wouldn't have. This whole, I need to be solo. It's like, did Reggie Miller play with a Hall of Famer? Did Charles Barkley play with the Hall of Famer? Charles Barkley did really late when he played with Houston, but that was it.
I think when it all boils down, because I agree with you, Richard, but to answer your question, Channing, to take it one step further, when it comes to legacy, it's all measured by what?
Championships.
And to your point, Richard, has Charles Barkley won a championship?
No.
And so I just think from that standpoint, to say that it is a knock on your legacy because you played with great players that ultimately helped you win when it comes to this league,
right?
You can't say anything different.
Okay.
No.
Because
it can hurt you.
But that's what is like James Harden.
It can hurt you, but from what standpoint? Because now we're in a day and age where everyone has a voice and everyone thinks that their opinion matters.
Which is, you're so wrong, everybody. You're so wrong.
I mean, that's just how I kind of look at it.
Yeah.
Al, you're correct. Everyone does have a voice. Everyone does have an opinion, but it's just like I changed my bio on Twitter where it's like welcome to Twitter, where everyone has a sports analyst they hate and one that they love, and they will let you know every time that person is on television.
Oh, for sure.
Right? It's just like,
so, well, you guys all do me a favor and tell me how much you love the fact that Richard and Channing, to wrap this up, both showed up with Arizona warm-up jackets. I mean, they called each other. They wanted to dress alike. For any of you that really actually thought they didn't get along or that they
no, but they're idiots. No, this dude,
they're idiots.
I've had this coat, and then he copied me and went and got it.
No, you have that. I said, "Ooh, what's this?"
No,
Jason
I have
Terry
three. I have 3 of those.
Well,
I think at the
that's
end of the
success,
day,
Richard.
my zip-up warm-up jacket outweighs the both of yours. So,
The Laker
Great.
stuff, yeah. You're right.
Colors, Allie.
Actually, a friend of mine
wait.
was cleaning out their closet and said, I'm going to take this to Goodwill. Oh, wait. Allie, would you like it?
That
Same
is a
thing.
dope coat. That is a dope coat. Last thing I want to say, guys, I have this idea for FanDuel. We're going to be doing, I know they do the weekly challenges and stuff. I think all three of us should do it, and we should add some fans into it. So if you guys want to do like the FanDuel pick a team, whatever it is, if you guys want to do that with us, and then maybe we'll invite a couple of fans on to some random podcast and talk about how your team did, make fun of each other, how ours did. Let us know if you guys like that idea and if you guys would be interested.
Let us know via Road Trippin Pod on Twitter or Road Trippin on Instagram using the hashtag Road Trippin, because we are now officially presented by FanDuel.
Hashtag.
Again, go sign up for fantasy over at FanDuel.com using code Road Trippin to get a 20% deposit bonus towards your first $500 spend. All right, well done, guys.
First one, we made it through.
We done.
Internet and all.
We made it through. That we did. That is another edition of Road Trippin.